At 79 years old, Goldie Hawn is finally peeling back the curtain on the untold truths of her life, and what she reveals is nothing short of astonishing. For decades, the world has known her as the bubbly blonde with a contagious laugh and effortless charm, an Oscar-winning actress, a beloved comedian, and the other half of one of Hollywood's longest-lasting love stories with Kurt Russell. But behind the glitz, the laughter, and the red carpets lies a story that very few have heard. Until now, in a rare and deeply personal interview, Goldie is opening up about the hardships, heartbreaks, and hard-won wisdom that have shaped her life, not as a movie star, but as a woman. Goldie begins by sharing that, despite her on-screen lightness, she struggled with anxiety and depression from an early age. People saw the smile, the giggle, the sunshine, she says, but they didn't see the nights I cried myself to sleep or the panic attacks I had before walking onto a set. At the height of her fame in the 1970s, she admits she often felt like a fraud, afraid to admit she wasn't okay, terrified that her vulnerability would be seen as weakness in an industry that demanded constant perfection. She found solace in meditation and Eastern spirituality, which she says saved her life. That inner work would become the foundation for her lifelong advocacy of mental wellness, especially among children, which led to the founding of her nonprofit, Mind Up. Then came the moment that truly defined her, not in front of a camera, but in her personal life. In a culture where Hollywood marriages come and go like the seasons, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell became an anomaly. Their relationship, which began in 1983, has lasted over 40 years without ever walking down the aisle. Many speculated about why they never married, but Goldie is clear. We chose to stay because we wanted to, not because a paper told us to. Love isn't about ceremony, it's about waking up every day and choosing each other again. She recounts how they navigated fame, raised a blended family, and faced storms together, including her challenges with aging in an industry that often sidelines women past 40. And yes, aging is another truth Goldie tackles head-on. At 79, she refuses to hide behind filters or plastic surgery trends. "I'm proud of my wrinkles," she laughs. "They're my roadmap. Every line has a story." While she acknowledges the pressure of staying youthful in Hollywood, she says it was far more important to remain relevant by staying true to herself. Goldie shares how she turned down roles that didn't align with her values, how she once walked away from a $10 million deal to protect her peace, and how she had to fight time and again to be taken seriously as a producer, writer, and thinker in an era that often reduced women to their looks. But the hardest chapter of her story, she says, involves motherhood. Raising kids while navigating fame was the hardest thing I've ever done, she reveals. She opens up about the emotional toll of being away from her children while filming, the guilt she carried, and the moments she feared she wasn't enough. Yet, she beams with pride when talking about her children, including actress Kate Hudson, who credits her mother as her biggest role model. Goldie speaks with deep love about the spiritual bond she shares with her family, noting that legacy isn't about awards or magazine covers, but about love, resilience, and impact. As the conversation turns to legacy, Goldie gets reflective. "People always ask what I want to be remembered for," she says softly. "I want people to remember that I tried to bring light, that I fought for joy, even when it was hard to find." She talks about how the pandemic changed her, how the isolation forced her to confront her mortality and reevaluate what truly mattered. She began writing more, spending hours in her garden, and connecting with old friends. "I've lived long enough to know that the only real currency we have is time and love. That's it." Goldie closes her revelations with a powerful message to anyone feeling lost, aging, or unseen. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need to be young to be beautiful. And you don't need approval to be free. At 79, Goldie Hawn is no longer just a symbol of joy. She's a symbol of strength, authenticity, and enduring grace. Her untold truth is not just about a life lived in front of cameras, but a journey that reminds us all that the greatest roles we'll ever play are the ones where we choose to show up exactly as we are.
Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more amazing content. See you next time.